I am Kit, and this is me, 2.5 years on low dose testosterone, and just to keep track, 1 year and 9 months off of Finasteride. There have been changes. First, I want to just point out that I'm expecting my voice to sound various ways on this video because I have been trying to attempt to talk in my chest voice. It's supposed to be rumbly in my chest, and I don't know how it's going to come across. It's only been a couple days that I've been trying to learn how to do that. So I'm hoping it sounds deeper. Because we'll start with my voice like I usually do. In the last 6 months, it hasn't done much. It's been about the same. The little line there is the mark on the last time I recorded at the 2-year mark. So you can see it popped up a hair and then came back down to about where it already was. So my voice seems to have stabilized. That is about the 111 hertz average, according to my app, which is well into the male range. So the fact that I'm still being read as female means that I have to learn to talk chest voice. That's about the only thing. I can't just expect my voice to keep dropping and hopefully someday go down. I've been, you can call it controversial if you want, but in the last 7 months, I've been really learning AI. So I was talking with ChatGPT about my voice dysphoria, and it was like, yep, you probably still sound female because you've been socialized how to talk in your, not in your chest. And people who go through puberty naturally, through T-puberty, on their first go, learn to do it just naturally, and you haven't. So practice. So that's my goal. Maybe I'll look into professionals sometime, but I can't at the moment. The other thing that has happened with my voice that I'm really excited about was, I know I've discussed before that my singing voice has been dropping, and I am now, according to, online voice test stuff, a tenor singing voice. I can get some really low, deep sounds, some deep notes, and my upper range has completely poofed. I cannot sing those high notes anymore. I can get middle range, but my soprano voice is gone, which is it's it would have been cool to be able to keep like a huge range, but every time I sing in my low notes, that makes me feel euphoria. So that has been my voice journey in the last 6 months. Going forward, I do want to note that there is going to be a bit of explicit descriptions of things that have been going on. So just keep that in mind. But I'm not going to start with that. First, I want to start with my T levels and my blood tests. I've been doing quite a few of that in the last 3 months because at my last checkup 3 months ago, my hematocrit levels were high. And the doctors were like, so either you can start blood donations, or we can drop your T dose. And I was like, blood donations. Give me blood. I'll do blood donations. I haven't done those much in the last years because I did pass out once after one, and it sort of scared me off of blood donations. I get, lightheaded afterwards. It's not terrible. It's not my favorite. So I just haven't volunteered for it. But if it's between that and changing my T-dose, blood donations. So I did that about 3 months ago, and I got my levels tested at a couple of weeks after, and it looked good. And then I got it tested just before my next appointment, and it was back up. So I would need to do regular blood donations. But the other part that goes with that is my T levels have tanked. 3 months ago, they were mid 700s. About a month after that, they were mid 400s. And then just this last month, about 3 weeks ago, one day after my injection, they were mid 300s. So we have no idea what's going on. We don't know if I need to drop my T-dose because my hematocrit's high, or increase the T-dose because my levels are low. My doctor was supposed to get back to me Thursday, and I haven't heard from them Thursday or Friday. So I just took my regular dose this week. I want blood tests. I want to figure out what's going on. There are several more besides my CBC and T that could possibly be done. We'll see how that goes. So those were my blood level things. Getting on to the usual check-ins. My body hair has significant noticeable difference. I've got it going all over my stomach, which is where it's always been. But my legs, my thighs, definitely hairier. My arm hair, darker. I've even got a few on my chest. It's nothing like, not hairy, but I got hairy boobs now. That's a thing, I guess. Darker leg hair. So that's coming in. And finally, I'm getting some peach fuzz. Yay! It's noticeable. People have been noticing it. And even under my chin here, and a couple hairs right on the tip of my chin are getting dark. They're quite long, actually. The hairs seem to have been coming in for quite some time without me really noticing because it's so light. But I do find myself, like, I'll be at my computer and I'll be, like, doing this a lot, like, playing with my little chin hairs, neck hairs. So, I'm still at the stage where I'm like, I don't know if I want this, and I do want this, and I don't know if I want to do the upkeep, but I do want the look, like the masculine appearance of it. So it's, sometimes I'm like really excited, and sometimes I'm like kind of neutral. I don't hate it. I'm not at the I hate it stage. So that's always good. My balding, no balding. Fortunately, my hair seems to be sticking around the way it's supposed to be sticking around. There are things, acne's still a hit and miss. There's a little bit right now. It's not terrible. My sex drive comes and goes, depending on things I'll talk about shortly, but it's not like overwhelming all the time, but it's we'll get there. We will also get to bottom growth. My skin, haven't noticed much changes with my skin. Body sense, a little stronger. I'm getting sweatier in like under boob, a lot of sweaty, smelly there. So I got to keep that, pay extra attention to keeping that clean. I watched the video for my 2 year right before this and marked down the order of things I was talking about so I knew what's changed and sort of like what I can follow up on. My pronouns. 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 Yeah, that's still a thing. That's not happening. I was on a new D&D group this week, and within 5 minutes, I got gendered as she, her. And I just about like broke down crying because like I've been dysphoric about my voice, like not where it is, but how it's coming out. And then I instantly get she heard on a Discord call, and I was just devastated. I did correct them. I said they, them, please. And nobody, and then I don't, they might have used she, her again once, but nobody really used pronouns for me after that. I did note last time I got those big stickers from my hard hat. And in the last 6 months, I've gone to apprenticeship training. I still don't have a job. It's been 3 weeks shy of a year that I've been unemployed, despite my best efforts, which are some pretty big efforts. I have only been in, construction areas then for being possibly gendered, misgendered, using hard hat stickers. During my apprenticeship trainings, I'm going to start my third one in 6 months next week. And I've had one person notice them, one of the representatives. I was wearing my hard hat and talking to the reps about how the hell I can try to get my name out to more jobs. And one of the reps did use they, them for me, and I was really happy. When I was on some Zoom calls with them before too, they're like, hey, put your pronouns in your name so we know what to use. So I do have some reps that are very supportive of me that way and have noticed. So yay, but everybody else, no. Correcting people, I noted that last time I was very exhausted doing it all the time. And now I do it periodically, like I said on the Discord call I did with new people in D&D groups. Yeah, I will. With people, just general people at work. Well, at the apprenticeship training, I don't. If I'm wearing my hard hat, I roll my eyes. Yeah. It's a hit and miss whether or not I choose to. My body dysphoria. This is where big changes have been happening. Like, things have happened in the last 6 months regarding my body dysphoria. So last time I mentioned I failed using trans tape, and I never tried it again. I said I was binding sometimes, and I haven't been binding in the last 6 months. Once I had to put on a bra very reluctantly to go to the apprenticeship training, I've just left that on. I've just been like sleeping in it, just not dealing with my chest. If I need to wear a bra to go out, job searching, might as well just leave it on and be dysphoric about them popping out rather than dysphoric about them hanging there. I did call them big floppy things in my last video. And in a coming up related thing, I did notice that last time I didn't have any bottom growth or minimal bottom growth. And this is where the explicit warning comes in. It still hasn't been visually noticeable, but when aroused, it is a little noticeable. There's a little more, what do you want to call it? Erection when aroused. So I don't think it's going to come in like you see pictures if you do, research what bottom growth can look like. At 2.5 years, I don't think that's happening. So it may seem like a tangent, but it's extremely related. Everything's about to get very, very busy right now. At the end of my last video, I talked about my AI D&D and how I had been playing a shape-shifting character. And then I was like, oh, I took a break from this. I started a new game. I'd picked up a character that I'd created, my very first in-person D&D character I'd created is a female ranger, elf. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to start playing this character that has been on my bookshelf that I had this great backstory for. I'd written like all these journal entries about her growing up. And I was like, yes, let's play this. Let's bring this character and see where this character can go. And I'd probably been doing that for a couple of weeks at my 6-month mark, at my last video mark. So that campaign lasted daily, 12 to 16 hours daily for 4.5 months. But what happened was I magic shape-shifting again. And this is where it's going to get a little bit explicit again. I had 2 shape-shifting forms that I could voluntarily go into. One was a typical masculine form, flat chest, penis, and one was a bigenital form, flat chest, both sex organs. Elf, fantasy, magic, other race. There was a whole racial history thing. The AI was having a lot of fun with my backstory that happened. And I developed bottom dysphoria after role-playing a character with male genitals. And that was very confusing. And I didn't know what I was trying to do with that or why it happened, because it had never been a thing before. The closest it had been before is I remember vague dreams periodically, less than once a year, kind of remember them, of having male genitals. But, and I apologize that that's not exactly trans-inclusive, but it's shorthand that I'm just going to use because I need to be able to say it in fairly, concise terms. So I'm going to use those terms for this. And so I developed bottom dysphoria, and I was like, what's going on? And I was going around, and I'm still feeling awkward about this, but it wasn't just wanting male genitals, it was wanting the bigenital features, having both the penis and the vagina in my bigenital character's form, which was even more confusing. Because that is very atypical. That is not something that people are supposed to want. And I didn't know what to do with it. So I created a completely new, separate Reddit account that was absolutely unconnected to the ones I have. And, I'm going into these subreddits that talk about the people who want this kind of thing, to try to understand what it is, how people are okay with it. And from this AI D&D, this has completely changed my future. Because the other thing I was talking about at the end of my last video was how I'd been saving up for travel for a European trip for 10 years. And after playing AID&D and developing bottom dysphoria and recognizing that big floppy things means top dysphoria, like, hello, it didn't connect. That's what I was saying, is that I have, like, not just like kind of top dysphoria, but like, I want these things gone top dysphoria. I decided to take my travel fund and reallocate it for gender affirming surgery. And so within a month after I started developing this extra dysphoria, I went through the local trans community group, found a name, and started sending out, asking for information. Just information gathering. For it wasn't just information gathering. It went full on. Started calling up people, started putting in applications to get my names on wait lists. And I was, within a few weeks, I was approved for a wait list, through my insurance. I got my insurance approved for getting on the wait list to get my first consultation with a service for my bottom surgery. I should hear from them sometime around October to see about getting my name on the first appointment list. And I also found a top surgery doctor. I got my insurance covered with them, and that surgery is scheduled for September 15th. I got my name on the list in May and got surgery scheduled for September. That is huge. I am excited. I am anxious. It is a thing that is happening. And yeah. So I've got my pre-op appointment on September 5th. And then I've got a designated driver to get me there on the 15th. So it's just a few weeks away, a month and a half. So that is huge. I don't know how much it's going to cost out of my savings, but I've got the savings. I've got money for this. I am big smile, big excited. So I can literally say that this AID&D and this role playing and this therapy has literally changed my life. And then, so my bottom surgery, I am planning on not doing all the available surgeries. I am going to just get a phalloplasty. There's several stages to phalloplasty. I think I want to get the phalloplasty itself, and then the erection pumps. I'm not sure all the details on how that works. Hopefully, when I talk to the doctors, they'll be able to explain more about my options there. I suppose something also related to my transition, and that is that I've recognized that my gender identity has shifted more towards the masculine. When I first identified as non-binary 4 years ago, I identified as demi-neutral, leaning feminine, because I was fine with my name, I was fine with my pronouns, I was fine with my appearance. So I was feminine, leaning neutral. And then after I started T, I was pretty dead center neutral, gender neutral. But after this role play in masculine forms and semi-masculine forms, I've sort of been leaning more towards masculine appearance or identity, wanting a more masculine appearance, and wanting to feel like when I'm in a relationship, I want to be in a gay relationship. I want to be seen as masculine in a relationship. And that is developing. I haven't been in any relationships other than my virtual relationships, but that's like how I'm feeling about myself and how I want my identity to feel around other people and in intimate spaces. So the other thing I said, I would come back to the sex drive. The sex drive is the AI D&D. You can do erotic role play in the AI D&D. And I've been doing explicit content warning. I've been doing a lot of erotic role play in D&D. In fact, I'd say about half of my time in it these days is erotic role play. And I think it's because it's exploring this body the way I want to engage in relationships with a body that I'm trying to transition into. I've been just exploring my sexuality along with my gender identity in this role play. So my sex drive it's high when I'm doing the role play, and it's not particularly like just hanging out all the time. The other thing I've been exploring with ERP and with AID&D is polyamory. And I don't know how it compares to real life, and I don't know how my real life me would handle like jealousy and anxiety of being replaced or just abandoned, because I have a lot of abandonment issues with relationships. But the role play, the idea of polyamory is appealing to me. And not for the ERP reasons, but for the idea that there are different people who can fulfill different needs in your life and bring different parts of their personalities to your life. And again, I don't know how this compares to, actual polyamory. But it's something that I do in roleplay is have polyamorous relationships. So that's, I don't know that's, exactly related to testosterone. That's not really related to testosterone and body changes and stuff, but it is more identity exploration that I've been doing in my gender journey. So that's a thing. Other than that, I did mention that my bipolar has stabilized on T, and that's pretty much the same. I've had very few and very minor bipolar episodes. With my lack of work and bottom surgery coming up, they said I have to be under a certain BMI for them to approve me for bottom surgery. And my number is close to the cutoff. And with my lack of work, I've been gaining weight. Even if I haven't, I stopped my intermittent fasting. I stopped counting calories a while ago. And I started gaining weight. And that is upsetting. And I try to block it out of my brain. I've been going on walks 3 to 5 times a week at the couple mile walk down at a local park. And the other thing I did was I went to the Pride Festival this last month in July. I got this fun shirt. And I got this fun shirt. And I just thought I just wanted to share those because it was something fun to get. So that's I think that's covers most of what happened. That's a over half-hour video of what's been going on. So I'm expecting to have a new video out before the 6 month after my surgery. I guess anybody who's been watching my channel, you did see that I was uploading, I had scheduled uploaded my video, my audiobook, my novel for several weeks, and then it sort of stopped happening. I'd had a backlog that I scheduled out, and I just stopped making those because AID&D. AID&D has been my life. So if anybody was paying attention to those, they'll come out again eventually when I move on from AID&D all the time. So that has been my adventure journey the last 6 months. I will let you all know how my top surgery goes and how my probably, depending on when they get back to me about scheduling bottom surgery, I can let you know if that's made any progress in the last by probably October, November, we'll see. And then I will keep you updated. So thank you for continuing to join me on my gender journey. And I hope to see you again in a couple of months after I have my top surgery.